remembered this time. Because if Lana's here, there always has to be background music.
I just enjoy the mood. It just mellows me out, man.
I love it. We both need all the mellow we can get right now.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. I say something gay. Gay. Today, extra gay. Drinking iced coffee.
Love that.
I don't normally do iced coffee from home, but I had some extra coffee in my coffee pot, and I needed a little pick-me-up in between my normal caffeine system. So I said, you know what? Let's just do some iced coffee today. So it's got some oat milk, some brown sugar oat, creamer. It's a good time.
Love that for you.
Yeah.
And I am Lana, your resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea, because you know I love me some tea. So, you know, if you got tea, hit me up, period. And today I'm drinking peach berry punch. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Peach berry punch in my cup. So, and you know, you see it at the bottom of the screen. If you want to be like me and the rest of my podcast members, when they finally decide to get one, everybody will have the cup. Just order it from
Sam has one.
Sam and Brooke.
Sam
and Brooke already joined the tea, got the tea started, and has gotten on board with this cup, but. You know, everybody else is slowly but surely coming around to it.
I thought I ordered one. I did not.
But we'll have other cup merch coming soon. We already have a hat. We'll have more stuff coming soon. So be on the lookout.
Well, we are finally back diving into Big Brother Canada. I think I could speak for both of us when we say, you know, we're just not as in tune with this season thus far.
Yeah, yes and no for me. I am doing my best to stay in tune because of the fact of it's fun knowing that I know someone there. And it's like, that's great. But I don't know if it's the lack of live feeds for me that's not doing it. The digital dailies they're just not doing it for me. I don't know. It's like I still feel very edited, and I don't. But on the flip side, I feel like Canada is doing a much better job at showing us things in the edited episodes that keeps the episodes interesting.
Yeah.
And so, sure, you miss live feeds because I do. But the edited episodes are still very good and entertaining that I'm not like super, like I'm not checking out of the season. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I haven't completely checked out, but it's just like watching it. I'll watch it when I get around to watching it. You know, it's like I know I have to talk about it, so I'll eventually watch it. It's not like I got to be in front of the TV as soon as it comes out.
Yeah,
I'm not there, but I do watch it, and it's okay.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I will say, I think for me, the digital dailies are better than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
I really was expecting, you know, maybe 30 minutes a day. And while they had like sort of a rough start to the digital daily, you know, distribution, I think they've gotten a lot better with it. I really do think they've taken kind of the feedback that they've gotten from the people that are watching them and are kind of the ones over the last like week or so have been a lot less fluff. There's still fluff. And I don't mind fluff every once in a while. But I think they're showing, you know, the conversations that need to be shown while also like keeping intrigue. Because I'll say, well, we're talking about both week 1 and week 2. When we get to the Vanessa Zach blow up, I will say a lot of it wasn't really talked about, and none of it was really shown on the digital dailies. And so I had heard so much about it, and I was like, oh my God, what is this blow up? Like, what's happening? And it kept me intrigued, and it helped me actually really want to watch the episodes that were coming out. So I will say in that regard, I think they're being smart with the way that they're doing it. I do as well still miss live feeds. And I want to give a shout out to all the people that are doing digital daily updates and doing other like coverage of the season. I know our friends over at Silent Podcast are doing a lot of coverage. Love them. RHAP is doing some really, really good digital daily content over there. I'm going to shout out as well my favorite ladies over at Mad Rose D. Maddie and Janet are doing a great job with what they are being given this season. Mad Rose D is my go-to source for Big Brother live feed content. Maddie specifically always does just a phenomenal job with her live feed update over the last, I think they've been doing it for like 12 years on YouTube. So, and they're doing the best that they possibly can with this digital daily situation. So shout out to everybody that's doing digital daily content. We just don't have time to do it.
I don't.
Like we don't. But
I mean, if I was going to choose between doing digital daily content or episode content, I would have to pick episode content because, you know, it's more. And I just, like we said, the time is not available. And we're the only ones right now doing Big Brother Canada for the Cup. So we just don't have the time to do digital dailies plus, you know, the episodes, but we do make sure that we have the spoilers, things that from digital dailies that we get, and the little tips and that we can get.
And at the end of this video, we will talk about the digital daily that we got today at the time of filming. We're filming on Friday. This will probably be coming out Saturday. I think that's where it'll come out. We'll talk about, we know who the HOH is. We know what the plan for the week is. So we'll dive into that at the end. But we're going to quickly go through week one because we kind of talked a little bit about it in our premiere recap, at least through the HOH comp. So we know that in week one, we had Santina as our HOH. She won the hedge competition over John Michael. We had our dead last, the only dead last to ever happen on Big Brother Canada as Renee, because they said, oh, this twist ain't working. We're going to get rid of it after 1 week. And I said, okay, great. Thanks, Big Brother Canada. Really appreciate it. I didn't mind the twist, if I'm being honest.
It wasn't a horrible twist. It wasn't the worst twist I've ever seen, but
yeah,
I feel like if they would have kept it up another week, the same person would have still been on the block.
I think that's why they got rid of it. Actually, no, I don't think Renee came dead last in.
Yes, she did.
Did she really?
Yes, she did.
Well, anyway, I'm pretty sure it's a great twist in theory, and I think on a future season where like competitions are a little bit different and there's more like competitive players, I think that's a twist, or maybe that's like a mid-season twist that they could implement at some point in the future. I like it. It wasn't the best implemented for this season.
Yeah.
But I love that they're trying to do different things.
I agree. I didn't mind the twist that much, honestly. Yeah. I wouldn't, if it was up to me, they could have kept it another 2 weeks. I wouldn't have been that mad at it because I feel like it made it more interesting.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been all that upset about it. So, Renee as dead last was the third nominee. Santina did end up nominating Anika and DJ Dan. That's how we're going to distinguish the Dans, if we're being honest. It's DJ Dan and it's Dan C, who is our Dan. We love Dan. Dan Clark, our baby. So proud of him. So Santina did nominate Anika and DJ Dan for eviction in week one. We had the veto competition with the 3 nominees plus Ty, and I forget who else competed in that veto.
Dan.
Was it Dan?
It was Dan.
Dan and Dan. So The 3 nominees plus Dancy and Ty, and we did get Ty winning the veto. It was the slop.
And they had to make the slot. They had to take the cup, dip it in. Well, first they had to dig in this head first in this to bat to get the cup, dip it in, slide back under these poles, and pour it into the thing and get it up to the red line. Dan and Ty was back neck and neck getting that done. And then once they got to the thing, they had to drain the green slime or green drink into the slop and create the consistency, and then pack the slop back in the cup and toss it onto a trash can that was held down by weights. And once you threw enough slop on this thing to get the weight up, you won. And Ty was the one that won.
Yeah. Not surprised.
But Dan was right there. If he would have threw 2 more things of slop, he would have won.
Yeah. I don't know that the outcome of the week changes, though, regardless of the veto winner.
No.
So Ty does use the veto on Anika. So Anika comes off the block. And Santina's backdoor target of John Michael goes up on the block. So the final noms for week 1 were John Michael, DJ Dan, and Renee. Nobody is surprised by that. It was made clear very early in the week that Zach and Ty are the controlling force of the house still. That has changed a lot in week 2, and we'll talk about that. But they were controlling Santina's HOH. Santina wanted, quote unquote, to target John Michael, more like was told to do it, and she said, "Yeah, sure." Whatever.
Very much so. It was very much she was told to do it. But everybody was not surprised except everybody in the house, besides Ty and Zach.
Yeah.
And Rob. The boys knew. But then
at that time as well, I would say Jonathan and Hope to an extent were a part of that too.
Yeah, and then Anika found out from Santina when she was going up as a pawn that was the backdoor option was John Michael. Everybody then it just like you said, everybody knew but except John Michael that he was going up.
Yeah. So yeah, we go to the vote. It was a pretty straightforward week 1.
It was a unanimous vote.
A unanimous vote sends our baby John Michael out of the game. The first evicted, or the first to be voted out, and the second evicted from the season, as we did lose them all in the premiere episodes. She's on Twitter, though. I love seeing her.
Love that.
I will say,
shout out.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Shout out to Amal, number 1,
yeah,
for just being like knowing she had an opportunity, could not fulfill the opportunity, did not shy away from Twitter, got on Twitter and is very vocal about this season, very happy for her friend, and giving a huge shout out to Queen Muna. Like, I'm like, I know.
I didn't know that she knew Muna. Like, I was like, what is happening?
She watched Muna on Sequester. That's
I
how
didn't see all that.
Yes, she watched Muna on Sequester, and that is how she knew our queen, Muna Ablada. Don't let me, I'm not going to do it. Yes. She watched Queen on Sequester.
Does that mean that there is a potential that Amal has seen you play?
Baby. Don't do that. Don't put that in my head.
No, because you did play with Muna
in Shadows, but I don't know. She watched Muna live on the Sequester live. So I don't know if she watched any of the mini games. So, yes. But so her seeing
Muna, a moment in our life, Lana.
Yes, but like, yeah, I was like when I read that and she just shouted out Muna, and I'm like, my Muna, I love Muna, like Queen. We stand Muna in this house forever and always. And so I was just like, that's amazing. So to know that Amal knows about some of the people in this community that we come from.
We are now in multiple ways. We are 2 degrees of separation away from Muna.
Right.
I'm excited when Dan wins the season. When Dan C wins the season, obviously because he's going to, or Kuzi, either way. When they're the final 2, and Dan comes out of the house, and Amal finds out that Dan knows Muna. Game changer. I'm thrilled for that.
Love that.
I will say on the John Michael note, because that's where I was going.
Yes.
He had a bit of things to say about our community over on the good old Twitter.
Yeah, I just see that.
I don't know how much you saw of that, Lana.
I did. I saw it all. And yeah, John Michael.
He has since retracted a little bit of those statements.
As he should. Because how dare you blame the people for a production decision?
The people that I would like to remind everyone who's watching Big Brother Canada, the people that brought the show back.
Because it was gone.
It was gone.
It was gone.
And we brought it back. So
but you go sit there and talk about how we're the toxic ones and we're the problems and we shouldn't bite the hand that feeds us? Huh? What? They not feeding me nothing.
If production is the hand that's feeding us, then we're the brain controlling the hand. Thank you.
And if we got to rely on them feeding us, which we do with these digital dailies, honey, we are starving. Mm-hmm. They are neglecting their children.
That part.
But okay. I was like, John Michael, please. You done played yourself with this one. You should have got out the house and been thankful for playing the game and thankful for the opportunity. And I'm going to watch along with everyone else and we can live tweet about it. That's what you should have said. Yep. And don't come for us about why we don't have live feeds, because that wasn't our decision. That was not your, and that's not the reason why we don't have them. Blame the sponsors. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it above 100.
Now that we're at day 21 in the house, do we think it's Wendy's or do we think it's HelloFresh? Because I think
it's HelloFresh. I still think it's HelloFresh.
I think it's Wendy's with how much they're promoting Wendy's every 5 seconds.
I mean, but Wendy's has always been there. So it's like Wendy's was there when they had, when we had live feeds. Wendy's was always there. I believe it's HelloFresh because HelloFresh already has some scandals and some issues going on, and they need to not have another one. So
that's fair.
That's still my opinion.
Anyway, we move on. Nothing else really super major happens in week 1 other than the formation of the Bros and then everybody else. The Bros and Santina, and then
everybody else.
But that all changes when we get to week 2. So we get the HOH comp, which is the sliding down and shooting buckets, basically. So that comp happens. There's no more dead last, even though Renee would have been dead last, and I feel bad for her. But we get DJ Dan winning HOH.
Started from the bottom, now you're here.
Good for him in that regard. And then he decided to be controlled by Zach and Ty.
Yep.
Now
it was week 1 all over again.
Yeah. So the idea for Zach and Ty is that they want to backdoor Rob. Because now Rob is, kind of not, sticking with the boys.
All because Rob said he didn't understand why Renee would be the best choice to go home. And Zach was like, how dare you go against what I want? And so therefore, I'm going to put target on you because you are obviously not with us if you don't agree with what I said. Because I said Renee is a social threat and she should go. But you trying to keep Renee is making me think you don't agree with me And because what I say go, and I'm the Kardashian of Ottawa,
God
everybody
help
should
us
listen to
all.
me. But okay.
That
But
part.
everybody should listen to me, and you not listen to me. So therefore, I don't want you on my team anymore. I think I got that right. That sounds about right?
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, sounds about right. So yeah, so we have that happening. That's all going. The backdoor plan is Rob because Zach is puppeteering this HOH. Now, we have to dive very quickly into the hope of it all.
Yeah, we gotta talk
Hope
about it.
comes out of this HOH and he is fundamentally upset.
Yeah.
But he has not won a competition yet. Even
It's
though
week 2.
at this point, he has only competed in 2 competitions.
True.
But he thinks that he should have already won 7 competitions, even though there are only 4 that have happened.
And he only participated in 2 of them.
Literally. So, he decides that he does everything but actually quitting at one point during week 2. He goes to DJ Dan, asks to go up on the block, and at that initial moment is like, I want to go. Like he talks to Rob, they have their moment under the blanket, whatever, and he's like, I just don't know if I belong here. And I'm like, sir,
it's week 2.
It's week 2. You've been in the house for 2 weeks.
And you don't know if you belong here because you haven't won a comp yet? My God, it's so many comps left to play. And you're concerned about not winning 2 comps. Like, you wanted to come out the gate and win everything? Is that what this is? But that just makes you a bigger threat than necessary because, my guy, you're already a big, muscly black man. You're a threat off the gate without winning anything. Now you want to make your target even bigger because now you're going to win every competition? And if you don't, you're going to pout? Dude. So then you asked to be put on the block because you in your feelings. Like, no, I can't. Moving along. I can't with that.
My favorite part of this whole exchange is that he goes to Rob, potentially hoping that Rob is like, no, don't quit, whatever. And he literally goes, well, you're going to have a good platform from this. So, like, I hope you enjoy. And Rob is just like, bye. Like, I love Rob. I love Rob. Hope then later, before nominations even happen, Hope then walks it back with DJ Dan. And it's like, so, remember when I said I want to go up? I don't really want to. Unfortunately for Hope, he still goes on the block.
Yeah, because Dan is like, no, you asked me. It made it easy for me, so
I'm not changing my mind. You're going up. So Hope and Renee go on the block. Again, there's no what's it called? Dead last, but Renee's still on the block.
Let's talk about the Renee factor for a minute, though, because Renee,
I really like her.
Renee has this, I don't know if it's a delusion of grandeur or just she just hopes people would like her more than she, I think, like, her outside world, everybody likes her. I think outside of this house, she's like the best friend to a lot of people. So she was hoping that whole thing would still come into play here. She'll be that social butterfly in this house. And it's not quite working out. She doesn't really quite have the social capital that she wants to have. But she was like, after the competition, she was telling Hope, like, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go talk to people and I'm going to work it out for us. Like, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to do my part. Don't worry. I got it. I just got to go talk to people. And I'm like, who's listening to you, honey? Nobody's really listening to you. And she went to Dan and gave him her best spiel, and she wanted to keep her bouquet off the domination block because they were block buddies, so he should know how shit feels, so he would not put her up, and yada yada yada. And Dan was like, no, Zach told me to put you up. So it's like, yeah, it's just I feel like she thinks she's more social than what she actually is, and Zach is playing that, making everybody believe she's this huge social threat, like huge social threat, and I'm like, is she though?
Is it because she survived a unanimous vote? Like, she's not the
That was
only one that survived a unanimous vote.
Right. But you can't go for him because he's the HOH now. But I'm just like,
yeah.
Is he though? I don't know. It was just interesting.
So those are the nominees. We go to veto, and it's our good old week 2 sponsored veto competition, sponsored by Philips Sonicare, who, if you would like to sponsor us, that'd be great.
Great.
Lovely. Veto players were Hope and Renee, obviously, plus Vanessa, Kuzi, and Zach. So it was a 2-part veto. So you had to assemble a toothbrush puzzle and then move it into the right position. And then the order in which you finished would determine your placements for the second round of the competition, where then you have to pick up these tooth bristles, and you have to make like a giant toothbrush. Was it?
Yeah, it was like toothbrush bristles. Yeah.
So then, if
on a vibrating platform.
Yeah, on a vibrating platform. So the person with the most bristles on the vibrating platform won the round. So that's what it was.
It was like Perfection. Have you seen that game Perfection?
Yes, I have.
Where you have to stick all the little pieces in the little shapes. Yeah. I love Perfection, by the way. That was one of my favorite childhood games. Yeah. And so yeah, it was just like they had all these different shapes. You had to stick the right bristles in the right shapes. And I loved that. I was like, oh, that's giving me nostalgia right there.
Yeah. So the winner of the first round, so the first person to finish their puzzle in round 1 was Zach, then followed by Vanessa, then Kuzi, and then Renee narrowly beat out Hope. Not like it mattered.
It was just the first round.
Yeah. So then we go to round 2, or part 2. Round 1, we have Hope versus Renee. Hope wins. Round 2, Hope versus Kuzi. Hope wins. Round 3, Hope versus Vanessa. Hope wins. So then we have a final showdown between Hope and Zach for the POV.
$5,000 is also up to grabs.
And $5,000. And Zach wins the veto. Yay. Woo.
Oh, was I supposed to react to that? I'm sorry.
You didn't have to. I
wasn't.
Well, okay. So obviously the plan that Dan wanted to happen this week ends up happening.
But we have to talk about the conversations that lead up to this before we get there, because we have a lot to talk about in between the veto and the veto ceremony. So first conversation is Zach with Ty. And Ty is right after the veto competition, like, why did you win that? And Zach is like, why wouldn't I win that? And he was like, you didn't have to win that. You could have just let Hope win, and he would have took himself off, and then therefore we wouldn't have to show any of our cards because it's just Hope taking himself off the block. And he was like, and Zach is like, well, I wish you would have told me that. And he was like, why would I have to tell you that? That's just like, that makes sense. Which I agree. I was like, you win vetoes when you have to win vetoes. And you win vetoes if you have to take, if you taking somebody off the block isn't going to show your cards with everybody. Like, everybody already saying all the boys are together. So if you take Hope off the block, it looks like the boys are together. But he was like, but in my defense, if we put up Rob, that's not saying anything. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, but you're not even supposed to show that you talking to the HOH to get Rob up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just dumb. Zach was not being smart. He should have never won that veto. Should just let Hope win it. Hope take himself off. Hope prove himself, feel like he proved himself, and he would have the boys on his side. It would have made more sense. But whatever. Zach didn't see it that way. He was just like, I just wanted to win. Whatever. Then we move on to Vanessa. Because Vanessa is a crying mess. She's very upset after the veto. And she's upset with Hope because Hope made a comment about she told Zach how to win and she threw it or whatever so Zach can win or something. She was throwing it. And she was very not happy about that because she was like, I would never throw it. I have a child who I've got to put through school. I would never throw the competition with money involved, blah, blah, blah. And that hurt my feelings. And so she's crying. Hope is apologizing. And Zach and Kuzi are in the other room like, why is she crying? Like, she is too emotional. If she is this emotional, she shouldn't play the game. That's the comment Zach made. If she is going to be this emotional, she shouldn't play the game. And that set Vanessa slap off.
As it should.
She was not happy with that comment. Because she's like, first of all, I can be emotional. We're humans in this game, and humans are emotional beings. We can be emotional, and it's okay to be emotional. In this game, you're allowed to be emotional. And we're not robots and cyborgs in here, so we go get hurt, and my feelings were hurt because Hope made an assumption that I did something that I didn't do and I wouldn't do. And she said, so yes, I got emotional, and it's okay to get emotional. And for you to say, I shouldn't play this game if I'm emotional, if I'm going to be this emotional, is like, it was very rude in her eyes. She didn't like it. She didn't want nothing of it. And she was going to let him know. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I made the comment. I apologize. I'm sorry that you feel this way. Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. He leaves. But Vanessa was not done.
Oh, no.
She decided this was the day. She had the time and she had the energy. And she was going to let Zach have it because she was sick of him.
Good.
And I agree. I'm like, I hear you, girl. But I appreciate that she felt the need to go and say what she needed to say.
Yeah.
Now, did she need to say it in this exact way, in this exact time, right in the open like that? No. She didn't need to do that. But it got her point across. And it made people start thinking in this game about what their moves that they were making, what was happening. Uh-huh. She blew up on Zach and mentioned about Zach's plans about trying to take out Rob last week. And which is true because he did mention Rob should be the replacement instead of John Michael. Uh-huh. Everything she said was actual factuals. And Zach knew he was caught, but he was trying to deny. But I'm like, baby, you are so caught. But you know who didn't think that was true?
Who?
Rob. For some reason, Rob wasn't catching the revelation because he's like, okay, maybe Vanessa's just mad. I don't know. Why would you say that? So Vanessa talks to Rob after this blow up with Zach. And Rob is like, what's happening? She's like, this is what happened. That's what they came to me with. And that's what they were trying to do. It was going to be between you or John Michael last week. And Rob was like, what? I don't believe that. Why would they? I don't understand. Like, Rob, please don't be so cute that you so stupid. Please don't be that cute that you got to be so dumb. But he didn't. He wasn't fully on board with that. He wasn't fully in the. But Vanessa was like, "That's what I heard." So then Rob goes to Zach and Ty and Santina, who are in the room, and they're talking. And Zach pretty much like, I don't want to talk about it right now. We can talk about it tomorrow. Because I mean, what are you trying to understand? Why would you? What do you think I would do that? Why would you? What are you trying to understand? I'm like, somebody. Oh, does that protest too much? I mean, he just asked the question like, why would she say that? I don't know. All you had to say was she's just trying to make up driveway edges, and I knew. But no, he went into very much. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it right now. We can talk about it tomorrow because I don't understand why you're coming at me like that. Like, how was he coming at you? Just ask you a question.
What we learned from this whole debacle is that in many ways Zach does know how to play this game, but in many ways Zach is very ignorant in this game, and that ignorance will be his downfall sooner rather than later.
Zach just, I'm going to say this, and I mean this in the best way that I can, and not the nicest, but the best way that I could possibly put it. Zach is a typical entitled white man who does not like it when his authority is questioned. Correct. And he, especially by a woman.
Yep.
He's the boss where he is at his job. He is the one always in control, and it's hard to turn off boss mode. I get it. I understand that. But he acted like he has never faced any opposition in his life.
He's the Kim Kardashian of Ottawa, Lana.
I mean,
never received any
nobody ever told him no. He had never had any opposition before. Nothing, because he acted like he has never been in a situation where he was being confronted with something he said, but didn't want people to know he said it. Because, like, I don't know about you. Well, I know about you. In games, we have both been confronted with things that we said that came back and bit us in the arse.
Lana has confronted me in a game about something I said.
I mean, I'm just saying, and you have to look me in the eye and lie to me. And it's just how you deliver it. And that's like, I've been caught up. Like, yeah, I said that. Or either you go come out and say, yeah, I said that. And, it is what it is. Or you go be like, why would you do that? Why would I even say that? I literally had to lie on Logan just to get me out of a situation. And it worked. Thank God.
It worked in your benefit, and I got screwed. But whatever.
I mean, it did, and
I'm not bitter or anything.
I mean, I still hate it, but I had to get there, and I still lost, which, by the way, sucks because I deserve that win. Anyway, we digress. Yeah, so he just was like a man who had never had any opposition in his life, did not know how to handle being confronted, didn't know how to handle when people even just minutely questioned him. It was just very, I don't know. He just proves why I don't like him. And I didn't like him in the preseason. He was the one person I was like, I don't know how I feel about this one. I'll keep an open mind, but if it goes like any other white male in this game, he probably will be somebody I don't like, and he proved himself to just be somebody I don't like.
Yep. You know what white man I am enjoying, though? Jonathan.
I'm enjoying Jonathan.
I'm enjoying Jonathan a whole hell of a lot. Is there another white man in this house?
I mean, DJ Dan.
DJ Dan. He's fine.
He whatever.
Yeah. He's nice to look at.
I mean, sure.
I like a man with tattoos, though.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I don't know. That was just it. Just seems like crazy to me that he just that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we
And
go.
unfortunately, I don't think anyone comes out of this situation looking all that great. Like, I
No.
think Zach is exposed for what he's doing, and now we'll talk a little bit about the new divide that's kind of happened since then. I don't think Vanessa looks all that great, unfortunately. I would have
Nope.
liked to see Vanessa come out on top in this and have allies and do all of that, and it's kind of just, unfortunately, kind of ostracized her a little bit more
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
than I would have liked to see, because I do like Vanessa, and I appreciate that um, she's, standing up for herself and playing her own game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Rob didn't look all that great in this either. Ty didn't look all that great, but it happens. So we go to the veto, and Zach obviously uses the veto on Hope because that was
Mm-hmm.
the plan that uh, Dan decided on. And the final noms for week 2 are Rob and Renee. Now, this turns into a bit of a contentious vote because up
Mm-hmm.
until, combined with the sheer lack of information we were receiving from the digital dailies, we really did not know what way this was going to go up until the vote actually happened. We
Yeah.
knew that there were certain people that were on either side. We knew that there was a clear division now because Jonathan and Hope and Rob, at that moment, kind of decided to separate themselves from the Zach, Ty, Santina.
Mm-hmm.
I would put Shania in that camp a little bit. I would maybe
Koozie.
Renee is more middling, but I would put her maybe on that side as well, sort of
Mm-hmm.
uh, camp.
I would also put Koozie close to that side as well.
I would put Kuzi in that little 3 that she has
Mm-hmm.
with Anika
Yes.
and Dan C.
There. Mm-hmm.
They become the pivotal group,
Yeah.
and I would say our good old Dan kind of becomes the swing vote in this situation,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which I was thrilled to see.
Me too.
Being an early swing vote and still like no one's talking about him really. He's playing, from what we see, and I wish we were seeing more of it. From what we see, I really think Dan is playing a great game thus far. He's put himself in an advantageous position. I think he'll be in a good position for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone's really going to come after him, and I think he knows how to find the right time to make the moves that he needs to.
Yes.
So, I think we're gonna see good things from him.
Mm-hmm.
But we almost, Lana, had a vote flip
That
this
would have
week.
been amazing. But
So we had firmly in each camp, we had Jonathan, we had Santina, who ended up kind of switching sides. She and Dan ended up comparing a lot of notes regarding their HOHs and kind of both realized, hey, we're being played by Zach.
mm-hmm.
No real mention of Ty, which you know what I'm happy to see because I do like Ty.
Me
I
too.
think he's playing a good game of using Zach. I would
Mm-hmm.
like him to, you know, separate himself a little bit more from Zach, but I
Yeah.
like where Ty is at currently. But you had Jonathan, you had Santina, and you had Hope very clearly in the Rob camp. And then obviously you had Ty, you had Zach, you had Shania, and Claudia, I guess you could say, is kind of in the Zach camp. And they were very firmly voting for Rob. And then you had Vanessa, who we really didn't know necessarily what she was going to be doing. There wasn't a whole lot of information about it. And then we had the trio, which I like this trio. I'm going to be
Me
honest.
too.
Anika, Kuzi, and Dan C. Very happy with this.
Mm-hmm.
We thought that Dan was going to gravitate towards Kuzi.
Mm-hmm. We said that.
I'm not surprised that they pulled Anika in. Anika, she's learning the game as she
Mm-hmm.
goes. And I think she's starting, from what we see, she's starting to have some really good game conversations. And I think she it took her a little bit to get acclimated. But I think she'll be a nice force maybe moving forward. Who knows? But they were the swing votes for the week.
Yep.
And like we said, up until the vote actually happens, we weren't really sure which way things were going to go. When we get to the live eviction, was there anything else before the eviction that you wanted to touch on?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. When we get to the vote ends up being 7-4, with Rob being evicted from the BB Can house, with Jonathan, Santina, Hope, and Vanessa voting to keep Rob. So I was conflicted because I like Rob. I think Rob came around, and I think he could have had some real agency in the game. But I like Renee too, and I was a little torn about which way this was going to go. Rob had talked about his whole campaigning, though, I will be honest, wasn't the best. He was never naming Zach by name and just saying there's a looming force in the house. Just say Zach. Everybody knows you're talking about Zach. Zach knows you're talking about Zach. So just say Zach.
I mean, honestly, at this point, what do you have to lose? You just need to go and say it's Zach. Zach is running this game. Zach is running this house. Zach has ran the both HOHs.
Yeah. So Rob does get evicted. I'm sad. I would have liked to see more of him, but
he was just, like I said, I just think his campaigning was just not up to snuff, and he didn't catch the revelation soon enough. And everybody was literally telling him, like Santina done it, just spilled it out, and he's like, well, how do you know? I'm telling you the plan. It's just yeah, he wasn't he didn't have all the crayons in there. Not saying maybe he was just missing 2 crayons, not the whole pack.
Sure. I do want to ask, I don't know if you've seen it. We do have a running count of confessionals per week. I'd like you to take a guess as to who has the most confessionals thus far in the season.
Honestly, I think it's Dan C. Because he has a lot. He had a lot. Well, maybe it's
in a tie towards the middle. He's only had 14.
Okay. Then it's possibly Zach then.
Zach is 4th.
Oh, well, who could it be then?
It's Renee.
Oh, I can see that too.
Yeah.
Because she cries a lot, and then she has a lot to say. I'm sure production loves her sassy.
Right. So it's Renee with 33, followed closely behind by Santina with 32, though only getting 3 confessionals this week. Followed by DJ Dan with 26, Zach with 25, and Claudia with 24.
Okay. Well,
I take a guess as to who the bottom 3 are, I guess. We'll do bottom.
I would say the bottom would be Vanessa.
She only has 2 confessionals. She does have the least confessionals of anybody.
Yeah, I haven't seen much from her. Hope?
No, Hope is actually 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well then, Jonathan?
He is 3rd from the bottom. He only has 10.
Okay.
The other person, 2nd from last. No. It's Ty.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen much from him either.
So Jonathan has 10, Ty has 8, and Vanessa only has 2.
Okay, so this is the thing. I can tell production favorites.
Yeah.
And Renee is a production favorite. They love her, which is fine.
Which is probably why they got rid of the dead last twist. So,
and Zach probably was going to be favorite, but he's turning into, like we say, Big Brother Canada listens to the
yeah.
people, and they realize very quickly that he is not very well liked outside of the house, and so they're not going to push him forward like they would,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, that's the end of week 2. We don't get any showing whatsoever on the episode about the HOH.
Nope, don't know
Also,
what's
I want to say Arissa has looked great thus far this season. She's beautiful and stunning as always, and she's doing the best that she can with what she is given.
She's
So,
beauty and she's grace.
and her Twitter videos have been a bit cringy, but I know she's not writing them herself.
Yeah.
I wanna throw in a little bit. We do have the digital daily for today. So we do know who the HOH is. If you don't want any spoilers, then thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on our next video, which will be next week, because we're gonna try to start doing weekly videos again.
We are. We're gonna get back.
So the new HOH.
Wait, give him a minute. Give him a minute to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
The new HOH. We don't know what the comp was yet, but Cozy won HOH! Yay! I don't know if she needed to, but I'm thrilled.
Yeah, she might not have needed it, but I want her to. You know what? I say if you don't, even if you're sitting pretty in the middle, if you don't need to win it, if you're going to win it, make sure you do something with it. Make sure you get some solid allies out of your HOH.
Yeah. So I will also say, thanks to Willow Pillow on Twitter, we know now that Kuzi is now the 5th Black woman in 11 seasons of Big Brother Canada to win the week 3 HOH.
That's crazy.
She joins the legendary and iconic quintet of herself, Spicy V, Levita, Brittany Blair, and Ika Wong.
We love
can't
that.
get much more iconic than that. And I will say, Spicy V liked a tweet of mine while we were recording this. So, but yes, so we know that Kuzi is the HOH. We haven't gotten a whole lot of information from this digital daily. Nominations have not happened yet. We got a few conversations of note. It was a lot of fluff in the digital daily that we got today. At the time that we're filming on Friday. Again, just so everybody knows, so we've only had the one digital daily since the eviction. We know that Kuzi told Jonathan that he was safe, so he has nothing to worry about this week, which I love. Happy to hear that. Beyond Kuzi's plans for nominations, we also see that Vanessa is lying about her eviction vote. She voted to evict Renee, and she is lying about it to the majority people. Ty kind of has a sense, and I think Zach does as well, that Vanessa was on them in the minority of those votes.
Right.
But, we'll see if that comes to anything, whether Vanessa gets called out on that or whatever. The main bit of information that we did get is a conversation between Kuzi and Ty. We know that Ty is kind of the number one person Kuzi is working with right now, despite being in this trio with Anika and Dan C. She's saying that she's not going to let Zach control her HOH this week. I hope that continues to be the case. I just don't know about Ty, because Ty is working with Zach. So this is going to be a really pivotal week, I think, for Ty to really show where he's at and whether he's in with whether he's in with Zach or whether he's in with Kuzi. This is going to be a really pivotal situation. What we know right now is that the likely nomination from Kuzi is going to be Vanessa and Santina, with Santina as her intended target, and her backup plan in case someone comes off the block with the veto is DJ Dan. Which is not ideal at all.
I mean, this is the thing. And I have to, as much as I don't like Zach, and I would love for Zach to be the target. For Kuzi, it wouldn't make sense to target Zach. And I want to give a shout out to who was it? Who well, I just was looking at the Reality Kingdom. The Reality Kingdom podcast, they were talking about it and they was just like, look, we need to focus on we need to focus and think about it, because if Ty is Kuzi's number one, and she's trusted him the most, and Zach is somebody who Ty trusts. If she puts Zach up, that cuts her relationship with Ty off. And you don't want to do that so early in the game, cutting off allies where you don't have to do that. And they're not coming after her. Mm-hmm. They're not the people trying to get her. So it makes no sense to go for Zach or Ty at this point for Kuzi's sake. Now, her putting up Santina makes sense. Because if we recall Santina's HOH week, Santina was literally playing in Kuzi's face the entire time. Just like not talking to her. Kuzi's trying to make conversation with her, trying to talk to her, want to get, and Santina was not trying to hear her. So it's like, if you're not trying to hear me when you're HOH, you don't want to work with me. So why do I need to hear you when you're when I'm HOH? So that would make sense, and I understand. And DJ Dan, I don't know. I feel like Dan and Renee are going to be like block stars. Like, people put them up because it's easy and no blood on their hands. And unfortunately, I could see that happening also to Anika if she doesn't, depending on who the HOH is at the time. Yeah. So it just wouldn't make sense. As much as I want Zach to go this week, unless she has the guaranteed numbers and and Ty is like on board with it, it makes no sense for her to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think we either lose Vanessa or Santina this week. I think regardless of how the veto happens. Mm-hmm. And with where both of them are at currently, I don't want to see either of them go, if I'm being honest. Again, I don't know that this was a comp Kuzi needed to win. Mm-hmm. I am happy she has power and she has agency, and I'm happy to see that. And I'm also happy to know that Dan C will be safe. Our Dan will be safe. But beyond that, I just don't know that this HOH is going to be what we necessarily want it to be.
Right.
But we'll see. A lot of things can change. Mm-hmm. Expect the unexpected in Big Brother. And, I'm hopeful that Kuzi is going to do what's best for her game and maybe let the boys implode on themselves.
Exactly. And that's what's happening. Yeah. Really, that is what's going to happen. So I feel like she doesn't have to do it. She can just take a safer route right now. And then if she ever gets HOH again later on down the road, then you pull the big punches and, pull the trigger on the big stuff. Yep. But that's it.
That's that. 2 weeks of Big Brother. We did it. We'll be back with hopefully weekly BB Can videos. That's the hope. The next couple of weeks are busy for both of us, so we will do our best in the BB Can realm. But make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for all of our reality content. Follow both of us because we're great. Check out the merch store, link in the description below. And yeah, cheers, Lana.
Cheers. Period.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Farewell.
Bye.
Bye. What are you still doing here? Goodbye.
We're done.